Hi everyone, and welcome to the introduction to the latest tool, the dice generator. So before we go into every detail of this big scary window, let's just hit show regenerate here and let's see what happens. Yeah, so surprising, we got a die. Let's probably start down here. So what this tool allows you to do is to customize your dice, and like one of the, let's call it, most important point of customization is change what is written on the faces. So here we could, where the 1 should be, just put an X here. And here we could put something like win. Let's just try that out. And you see we have an X down here. And here we have win. So I have reduced the resolution quite a lot here. So it is just much faster. Having just a W, you can see it here. We can also do select image here, and so you can just select any image you want, and probably let's not do that here for the 1, but let's probably do it here for the 6. And let's just look for an image. So let's probably just take my logo there, icon blurry, and you see we have a normal die, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and instead of the 6 we have the icon here. Of course we can increase the resolution here and go down to 1 millimeter or even down to 0.5 millimeters, but anytime you do that it just takes more time. So during this video I will try to keep the resolution quite high to be able to show you the results really fast, but already here with like 1 millimeter, it's, yeah, you can really see what happens here. And yeah, by checking here, you can just replace any face with an image, or by unchecking it, we have our letter back here. So yeah, let's jump to the top. Dice type, we have 6. You see we have the whole D&D dice types here. We could, for example, do a D4, and you can see here the numbers on the faces are now separated by commas. And if I generate that right now, you can see it here. Again, the resolution is now really bad. Let's probably make it a bit better. It will take now a bit longer, but it's also not that bad. Yeah, so you see here we have the 4 on top, we have the 1 here, the 2 here. Of course, we could do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, but this does not really make sense on a D4, except for when this is floating basically below a glass plate and sits with a flat side on top, but usually it will sit like this, so we have a 1, 2, or 3. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, we also have all the other types. We have a D8, D6, also 10, 12, 20, but let's probably stay with the D6 because that's the most standard type of die. We have our resolution. That's basically how big the triangles here are. We have the depth, so that's how deep it goes into the die here. And we have our radius here to round it, and we have a side padding. And just to show it, let's set it to 0 now. As you can see here, the distance here, let's set it back to 1. And you see we have a much larger distance here. So by that you can just basically confine all the numbers we have on every side. Then we can of course select the font. So this is just the first font that was here on my computer. You can scroll through here or do this select font window where you can actually see how the fonts look, and just select what you want to have. Probably let's go with this one. I really like that. We can do a font scaling. So for example, if we now make it smaller, you see the numbers are really small. can do that if you like it. I usually have it at 1. Then we have a normalize font stuff. So for example, let's just do something like this. And wait. Yeah, regenerate that once again. And let's keep the font scaling here at 1. As you can see here now, the number size of the 60 is much, much smaller than here for the number 4. And if we want to have them all the same size, we can do the normalize font, do the show regenerate now, and you see now all the numbers are same size. We have invert numbers. Same applies for images. If we do now invert numbers, they will just be the other way around. So they do not start at the top, but they start here at the depth and then go up towards the outer surface. And also, of course, for the images, we select down here, and we can also do the center images here, so it automatically puts the image in the center. But especially for the other shapes like a D12 or D8, where you have triangles or pentagons, you might want to not have the images centered automatically. Then we have another feature here only for the D6, and this is the single D6 image. So when we do a select here of the image, and let's just take an image that looks like this. Take that, and you see we lose all our faces here because we can't do anything with the faces now. And this will now take this image and apply it as you usually know your D6. So with this point, this is how it looks. If we take the icon again, it will now put the icon on every single dot. Again, we could possibly increase the resolution a bit, but you see what happens here. Now let's quickly uncheck that, and we're back at a normal D6. We can also apply a background image. So this means if I have my numbers here, and as a background image, we can do something like, yeah, let's take this, and let's just try out what happens. We also have to check it here, otherwise nothing will happen. So you see we have our numbers that are just basically imprinted as we know it. And then we have our background image that is also imprinted here. And you see, since it's it was black in the center, that's a value of 0, so nothing happens, but it will imprint it here on the sides. And now you see our font scaling coming in handy. So in this case, it really works out. But if you want to have the numbers a bit smaller now, we could do something like 0.8 now. And then the numbers will probably look a bit better. We can also invert this image because basically the two images are now combined, taking the maximum value. And if you invert it, it's the minimum value. In this case, this doesn't make too much sense, I think, but let's just look at what happens. Yeah, this is what happens. But sometimes you don't want to have the minimum of the two values, but rather the maximum, and then it makes sense to check this option. But it's just a corner case. We also can automatically support our die, and let's just do it here for the D6 we just generated. Yeah, so we have like here are different values for the support. So the height will increase here. Let's just remove the background image and try it again. And let me just open Mesh Mixer now to show you the result, because this is how it looks like now supported. As you can see, we have a very small support blade basically here. This is the tip thickness. Then we have our bottom thickness here. We have a tip height that's basically from here to here. And we have the support penetration. That's how far inside the die the support will be. And yeah, I think those were mainly the options. One option I didn't show you yet. This is the 2-color output option. And if we use that, it will generate a normal die, but now with 2 colors. And everything we cut off here will be done as a second object. And you can see it here. That's how it looks like. So we have now 2 objects that can be stitched together to print this with a 2-colored printer. Well, that's it already for the die generator. I think I went over all the options you can select here. Have fun creating your dies. Let me know how it works out, and I'd be happy to see some really cool printed, painted dies from you. Thanks for watching, and talk to you next time.